Hello, everybody. Jess Los with SBCA for another weekly update. A lot going on in the association world this week. But first and foremost, we've got a birthday coming up next week. Miss Ashley Newis is going to be turning another year older on July 5th, which is right after July 4th. So hopefully you guys are having a long weekend, able to celebrate with your families. Happy Independence Day and happy birthday to Ashley coming up on Tuesday, I believe. So with that, we've been busy as an association, as our staff, a lot of committee meetings this week, a lot of just things going on, getting prepped for the OQM, BCMC coming up. So it's a busy time of year for us. Talking about those meetings that happened, there were a number of them. Marketing, I think management's meeting a little bit later today, but another one with the membership. A discussion that came out of that committee revolved around, how do we drive membership? What's the value proposition? What's the elevator pitch? Matt Lehman had a really good question yesterday in that session, and everybody's always got a little bit different take on what they find the value of SBCA. But for me, and this goes back to when I was a component manufacturer, it's an extension of your insurance program, really. But you can do it in a little bit more proactive way. You can implement, you can kind of take the fight to whatever could go wrong, as opposed to insurance just being there to try to catch you if you fall. So what I look at is there are a lot of assumptions. Every time a component package leaves your gates, goes out on your truck, you leave it on the job site, there's a lot of assumptions going on there. Obviously, we've got the who, what, when, where, why. Those things are kind of answered. But the one that isn't is the how. And that is, how are the components installed? Now, there's a lot of assumptions there. Everybody says, oh, I've done this 1,000 times. Well, I saw an example on Facebook last night where somebody that had done it 1,000 times had a collapse. Unfortunately, I think he's going to be okay. So that is good news. But the assumption from the component manufacturers, the people understand how to install the components, how to install the trusses. That is one of the things that a job site package does. It gives you a guide on how to install the trusses. It gives you, that first line of defense. So when you send out a job site package, your trusses are more likely to get installed correctly. And in the event that they're not, at least you've got some protection, like an insurance program for your business, that you can point to and say, hey, we told you how to do it. We gave you some guidelines. This is what you should have done. Did you do this? And it makes everything that's going to happen in one of those bad events a lot easier for the component manufacturer. So that's really the first and foremost. It's an extension of the insurance program. It helps the component manufacturer when things do go wrong. It's not a matter of if, but it typically is when, and hopefully nobody's hurt. Nothing worse, than somebody being hurt with that. But it is one of those things that does happen in this industry. We need to do a lot better job with it, and getting more job site packages, BCSI information out the door is a great first step that every component manufacturer can and should participate with. Beyond that, the other aspect of any association, and I call this kind of the protect your playground aspect of it. We all operate in a space that allows components to be, the best framing solution of choice. That isn't always guaranteed. There are industries that can disappear, that do disappear. I, very early in my career, was in an industry that really is no longer around. It was taken away. And there's a number of things that can kind of impact a different industries. It could be the government could reach out and deem that, they no longer want you to operate. It could also be different code change proposals, different things like that can change how you operate, that make it to where you can't do one of those things. And that's where trade association comes in, to recognize those threats to the industry and the opportunity to defend them. Now, we probably won't be 100% on everything that we defend, but we will be successful in making sure that component manufacturers can continue to develop components. And that is the unified voice of an association. That's one of the huge value propositions. I could go on, but we've got a lot other things to cover, and I'm already at the 4-minute mark. So really, it comes down to protect your playground, and also an extension of your insurance policy in a proactive way. Beyond that, I mentioned the OQM earlier. If you are planning on attending and you do have to cancel, please reach out to our staff. Hotel rooms are incredibly tight in Boston. It's a popular time of year. It's a popular week with the Red Sox being in town. But the OQM is shaping up to be really fun. There's going to be a lot of good activities. We're going to do a series of breakout sessions. So if you are attending, plan to talk in small groups. It's not just going to be the typical sit back on your computer and be able to do some work. You're probably going to be more engaged in this OQM than you have in the last several OQMs dating back years. And I'm talking several years. So look forward to that. I'm looking forward to everybody interacting. The work that can get done in that environment, and the feedback that we'll get as an association and ways that we'll be able to implement that going forward. Beyond that, BCMC, hopefully that's on your radar, planning your tickets, getting registered, all those sorts of things. We've still got some room between now and the deadlines, but the way flights are and everything else, it's better to plan early, and I encourage you to do that. Beyond that, that's probably going to be where I wrap it up this week. Again, looking forward to everything that's going to be happening coming up in the next several months with the OQM BCMC. It is early this year, but it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people in person, which is great to be back doing that. And until I do see you, peaks up, press on, and we'll talk to you together. And once again, happy birthday, Ashley. Goodbye.